Hello, Misadventure here, and welcome to Teach Time in the Afternoon, where I educate awesome teachers like you on my RIPE critical knowledge building system. The posters of which I have right up here. RIPE for RIPE, Revere, Imagine, Problematize, and Enhance. So, really, what I've created is a system of what I like to call anti standards because they might look like some of the visuals you're used to with standards, and they can go right alongside standards. But instead of mechanizing and homogenizing classrooms, they're meant to expand conversations and break out of the cookie cutter curriculum that standards force you to have. This is going to liberate you. Alongside that, while you teach your academic skills, you can have meaningful, critical discussions that bring some meaning back to your classroom that has been sucked away by standardization and testing, my least favorite thing. So that's what the the RIPE critical knowledge building system is all about. And on Mondays, I pull some philosophy about the general system and the methodology as a whole. And as the week goes on, I dive into each one of these learning actions, ending with Enhance on Fridays. So you're not going to want to miss Teach Time in the Afternoon because there's so much to talk about and so much to explore. I think you're really going to enjoy what this can do for your classroom because you're already having critical discussions in your class. You're already trying to bring as much meaning as possible. But with all the other stuff you've got going on, honey, it might help to have a system in place that you can lean on to help you make your class more liberating and more meaningful for your students, like I know you want to. So we are going to be tossing some of my RIPE methodology cards into my knowledge of the people, by the people, for the people, because what I have here is philosophy from thinkers across the globe and spanning generations of time, because everyone's voice matters. You don't have to have a PhD to have brought some meaningful knowledge to the human experience, even though that's kind of the way we talk about academia and intelligence today. That's not the case. Humans have been intelligent this whole time. Spoiler, we're an intelligent species. That's kind of the whole thing. We are learning creatures. So this RIPE philosophy is pulling from people of all shapes, sizes, colors, generations, places. It's exciting. So let me toss these in here. Ooh, if I can open it up. Oh, upside down. That's sad. There we go. Give it a shake. Let's see what we pull out today. We'll go with this one. All right. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? Oh, right. I forgot. On YouTube, I can't read this backwards. I can't even read who that is. Brad Henry. Okay. Oh, okay, good. All right. So this is a nice, straightforward message that we're very used to. And just like common sense stuff that every teacher can agree to. This quote nails. So this is just some good old fashioned teacher truth up in here. Y'all ready for this? No. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Brad Henry. So he is a modern day educator, and that's pretty much all I know about him. I liked this quote because it just nailed, like I said, common sense stuff. But let's dive into, because as much as these are the reasons that brought us into the classroom, how much time are we spending on inspiring hope? It's not like we have a rubric for inspiring hope. We have rubrics for all sorts of other grading. We have all sorts of other mechanisms to make sure that we're on track for this and that, and make sure that our writing skills are up to this and our math skills. And we're taking data on data on data. Half the data we don't even turn in. The other half nobody's looking at. It's tucked away in some folder somewhere. What are we doing? We're not doing the stuff at the core of what teaching should be about. Why we got into teaching in the first place. A good teacher can inspire hope. Yeah, are we getting graded on that when we come into the classroom? Or are we getting judged and evaluated on whether we have the standards in a certain place and we're referring to them 3 times throughout the lesson? What about, are they asking if we're igniting the imagination? Are we getting graded on that? No, that's nowhere. That's nowhere. Maybe if you're lucky, if you're scheduled to go to art this week, you can use some imagination. And later in our unit on fiction, fantasy, then you can use your imagination. But otherwise, there's no space. There's no time. There's no time. We've got a test, right? So squeezing in imagination, it's not your fault that you haven't been igniting the imagination as much as you like. Trust me, I wasn't either in the classroom. And much to my chagrin, this is what we want to be doing: inspiring hope, igniting the imagination, and instilling a love of learning. See, you can't put quantifiable numbers on these things. You can't grade these things. And so we're not even discussing them in schools. It's not even part of what we're normally doing, like in our staff meetings or anything. So the right methodology is meant to help you bring these things back, because I know you want to and you're doing your best. But if you have systems in place, up on the wall, routines set that supplement the academic stuff that you have, right? We're on a schedule, again, not a schedule of your own choosing, but with the space that we have, we can have meaningful discussions that hit on the question, why? Why are we learning this? That's a question kids ask all the time, right? Why are we learning these things? So that's what the RIPE critical knowledge building system is trying to do, is get us to answer. These are 4 ways to answer when your students ask, what are we learning this for? Why does this matter at all? Why am I spending any time sitting in this desk learning about this knowledge? We have 4 paths that you can travel down to help answer their why. These are 4 different ways to go at that question. So, inspiring hope. I'm actually going to save that one. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with instill a love of learning. So, instilling a love of learning, instilling a love of learning is what Reverence is all about. It's not about like revering the knowledge, like, oh my gosh, can you believe, that humans did this? Like, yes, that's part of it. And obviously later we can imagine other things that humans could have done. We can problematize what the humans did, and then we can talk about ways to enhance what humans did, right? So we'll never stop just at Reverence, just so you know. But when we are engaging in the path of Reverence to answer why are we learning this, not only are we saying, wow, I'm amazed by what our ancestors were able, this knowledge they were able to uncover, right? But also it's meant to say, hey, you're part of this. You're a human too. You have those same capacities that your ancestors had. And you know how they were able to uncover this knowledge? It's because they were revering. They were looking out in the world and they were in awe of what they saw. They were captivated by wonderful things. They were so excited by what they were learning that they created this knowledge. They spent their time and their energy and their effort to create this knowledge because they cared about this knowledge. They had reverence. It had meaning and deep purpose for them. And so that's why they uncovered it. They were engaging this great sense of reverence for knowledge, which is our curiosity capacity, right? That, I would say, is curiosity and love overlap. And that's what reverence is kind of getting at, is that the best way to learn is to keep alive a love of learning. And so as you engage your students in the reverence of the knowledge, in the great purpose of why this lesson's being taught, why someone decided to put this in the curriculum in the first place, because it matters, or it doesn't. And that can be why we problematize it, right? But I'd argue that we can find something good in almost any. We can find good lesson. We can till it out of any lesson. But that's really what reverence has. Reverence is about love, is about loving knowledge and developing a relationship with loving knowledge, learning how to love knowledge. So it isn't just the act of revering knowledge, but it begins to, the more they engage their heart in learning, the more excited they'll be to learn, the more they will fall in love with the process itself. So the verb becomes so much more. Uh-oh. Oh, it's puppy time. Okay, not you. I have 4 dogs in this house. It's a miracle that it doesn't happen more often. Okay, can I pause my camera? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, that can go on a really long time. See, and it's starting up again. Okay, I'm gonna try and ignore it, but sometimes it really does last really long. Okay, so with reverence, we are building a habit of curiosity and loving wisdom. This is philosophy, you guys. So engaging in the act of asking why is philosophy. That is love of wisdom, okay? And that's what reverence is all about. Developing that habit, building, strengthening that muscle. Oh, I told you it can last. We'll see how much longer it goes. Okay, then it goes on to ignite the imagination. So igniting the imagination is the next step. That's after we revere, after we begin to develop that habit of loving to learn, then we can go into imagining, and then we can begin to get creative and ignite that imagination. So see how already this system with the touchstones that align, there are reverence touchstones, there are imagine touchstones, problematize touchstones, and enhance touchstones. So unlike standards, the point is you're going to touch on this and it's going to lead you down a path, right? That's what touchstones originally were, like guiding paths. So instead of being forced to talk about this, eventually too, I have a longer version of this where you can put multiple touchstones on at once. You can make a whole stack. And that way you can kind of have 4 ready to go. And wherever your class kind of takes the discussion, you can choose between many touchstones. So that's also exciting. So that's another way, not only will that, by bringing imagination into your classroom as an actual action that you engage in class, and with a system in place where your kids know, ooh, every day this class really will be different. I know because we travel down these different exciting critical paths every class. So I know every class is going to be unique, and that's going to spark knowing that it isn't the same old thing every day. knowing that they're going to need to be prepared for a discussion that can ping pong wherever, your kids, that will again build up that muscle of, ooh, where are we going to go? It's going to keep them on their toes, not knowing what comes next and imagining what could come next, trying to be prepared for whatever critical discussion you decide to touch on with all the critical touchstone options that you have, which, by the way, is over 425, which is a lot. So start small, start with big ideas, and there are a lot to explore, and they're not meant to be all touched on in a year. So it's not like standards where you have to check them all off. Instead, ebb and flow, choose from the ones that work. Come back, cycle through them, and circle back next semester. However you want to do it, that's up to you. This is a liberating tool, not a mechanizing tool. So finally, I'm ending with the first one. A good teacher can inspire hope. So instill a love of learning, reverence, ignite the imagination, imagine. I would say these two at the bottom are about inspiring hope. I wanted to use the right word, inspire, are about inspiring hope, because the whole point of problematize is not about being negative, not about saying, oh man, there are problems all over the place, and everywhere I look, I just see problems. No, by accepting the reality that there are always problems, humans are always going to find problems. You guys, that's like what we do. It's not a bad thing. It's not because we're some negative species that's just like, oh man, the world sucks. The world sucks. So I'm going to moan and complain and make problems. Now, we create problems to make solutions. We don't stop with the problem. The problem is the starting point. It's the jumping off point. And when you recognize that, okay, all right, problematize. If I develop the ability to use obstacles in my life as a jumping off point, okay, great. Now I can begin to develop a strategy for creating solutions. How do I strengthen my problem-solving muscles? You're never going to strengthen your problem-solving muscles if you don't first find problems. That you can't problem solve outside of a problem. So if you're going to develop problem-solving skills, you gotta problematize. And this says to learners, hey, the work is never done. You are needed. There are problems out there. And perhaps you're the only one who can spot them. Maybe it's one we all agree on and we're working on together. Or maybe you've noticed one no one else has ever seen before. Maybe it turns out that it isn't a problem. And that's part of this process. If we learn what problems are and what they look like and how to work together to determine how to prioritize different problems, and you know what, maybe this is a problem that isn't a problem, that can happen. But really, anything's a problem if you make it a problem. I think we all know that. Like anything, you can turn anything into a problem. We're good at that. Not because, again, that we're just big old stinkers and we're just mad about stuff. No, it's because we have ideas. We have solutions. And when you don't open up a dialogue around problems, you say your ideas are not necessary. Honey, we already have all the solutions we need. So keep your ideas to yourself. We love to share ideas. We love to help with our ideas. We want our ideas to make the world better and our lives better. We want to do that with our ideas. And so when you shut down conversations about problems, you're taking away their hope. Like, okay, I guess everything's already been done. Thank goodness the whole world's fixed and I can just go through my life. That isn't even the case anyway, because by taking a critical look at life, it becomes very clear that everything's a challenge. Everything we do is a challenge. So that's a lie in the first place. So you're not going to be able to handle problems when they come your way unless you problematize. And again, relating it back to hope, You shut down hope when you say, we don't need you. We don't need your solutions. Everything's fixed. Everything's perfect. It's perfect the way it is. We don't need you. We don't need your help. So let people solve problems, and let's strengthen our ability to identify problems. That way we're not wasting our time on things that aren't problems. Let's learn it in school, huh? Okay. And then finally, this one's a little more obvious. Why it's connected to hope, enhance. So this is about advancing us forward as a species. If we just keep doing what we've always done, we'll just stay the same. There are so many great quotes, and put them in the comments. I'll collect them and I'll add them to my knowledge of the people, by the people, for the people. Please. I love that. There are so many quotes about to be alive is to be in motion, is to be trying to advance, trying to progress, trying to flourish, to become better than you were, to unfurl more than before. That's just what life is about. And otherwise, you begin to degenerate. If you don't produce, you begin to, I'm trying to think of a word. There's such a great quote that I'm just kicking myself for not having right now. But you become a stick in the mud. If you're not in motion, you die. It's death if you're not moving forward. And I'd say the same is for knowledge. Knowledge is always moving forward, or else what are we doing? Do we have all the answers? No. In order to have new answers, we need to be building off the old ones. So it's just staircase stuff, baby. Just staircase stuff. So this is just what we do. It's what we do. We got a rhythm as a species. So enhancing, it's saying we're moving forward and you're part of it. That's what these last two ripe letters are all about. We're advancing and we want you to be part of it because you have special problem solving skills. What are you going to use them on? I'm excited to find out. So thanks, Brad Henry, for some common sense teacher stuff that really aligns to what this critical process is all about. Pretty sweet. Okay, so now that we've done that, on Mondays also, I'm going to be doing a cool thing. I think I'm really going to kick into gear the whole machine this is just like beta testing. The first one, on Sundays for my Patreons only, down in the description, you can find my Patreon link to join. For as little as $1.50 a month, you can have access to my critical planning sessions. That's what I'm calling them. Yes. My critical planning sessions on Sunday nights, Sunday afternoon, nights, depending on your time zone, where I dive into a specific touchstone of a specific age group of a specific subject. Because here's the thing. Let's see if you'll be able to read these. I'm not sure if you will. Yes. The RIPE critical knowledge building system is for any subject and any age. So here I have history, language arts, science, and math. Any of these, also other, but I'm just going to stick with these four for my lesson planning. But I'm also open to critique, so let me hear what other I should include. But all of these can work with these general touchstones, or you also soon will be available a RIPE critical knowledge building system for language, for math, for science, for history. So pretty exciting. This is just the general one, and it's going to be available soon. Down below, check it out. Okay, so any subject. It can also be for any age level. So high school, early elementary, upper elementary, middle school. I'd say even college, graduate school, adults, like it's super useful. But I'm only certified up to high school, only to secondary. I'm no professor, so I'll stick with what I know when it comes to planning. So every week, I'm going to be spinning these two spinners, and I think they'll work. I think I've been testing them and they work with gravity. See, yeah, even with gravity, they do go up sometimes. Okay, so I think these spinners will be good. And every Monday I'll be spinning, choosing a subject, a grade level, and a touchstone. Eventually I will be pulling touchstones out of my popsicle sticks, which are so fun. That's what they do. There we go. Which are so fun. Come on. That's so great. So eventually I'll be pulling them out, but because I want to introduce people to the big general themes, I'm going to start with the first big ones and work my way through the 13 level 1 themes of the touchstones before I dive into all of them and just have a free for all. So we're going to be going in order first, which means I'm starting with Revere 1. We're learning a lesson all humans have the power to use. So this is a democratic idea that as a public school educator makes the most sense for what our work is. And it's the most humanizing and I'd say most accurate philosophy to take for a classroom educator. Your mission should not be saying, oh, these kids are intelligent enough to learn what I'm teaching and these kids aren't. No, it should be everyone who walks in my door is intelligent because, again, intelligent species. We're learning. We know how to learn. So instead of saying, oh, I can only teach these kids or these kids are leveling out kids is unnecessary. Depending on what it needs to be is my mission is to just figure out ways to take this lesson and create a bridge between my lesson and each individual mind in my classroom because they are all capable. And how can I help them develop tools on their side of the bridge? How can they develop their own tools to help build the bridge this way? And what strategies can I use that will meet up with their bridge in the middle? So everybody's going to have different skills and different strategies for each child, depending on their different skill set and their different abilities, but we're all capable. And so the work is to figure out how do we help students make their way across the bridge and how do we meet them in the middle. So that's what this Revere Touchstone 1 is all about. All humans who walk in our door, we can make that bridge, which is an exciting thing to do. So now let's go ahead and spin. So first, I'm going to spin age. Okay, so what age group am I going to do? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I need like music. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so this time gravity won. If I keep spinning middle school, we'll know that gravity's hurting me there. But middle school, I'll start with middle school. So I'll choose 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. And what subject? Come on. I'll take it. Okay. That counts. I don't know how often it'll do that. Okay, great. Science. Okay, great. So I'm going to make a science middle school lesson. Maybe multiple, who knows? Sign up for my Patreon in the link below for as low as $1.50 a month. And even if this is months and months later, and boy, these videos are really picking up because I'm so popular now. This middle school science over Revere 1 will be in the Patreon for you to access. So it will always be there. So don't you even worry about it, honey. You're never too late to sign up for this class that currently no one's watching, but I'm telling you, you're on your way. I believe it. I have faith. Okay, so, here it is. So, like I said, eventually they're coming. And when you watch them, they'll be ready. I know it. And down in the link below, there's a ripe critical knowledge building system for each subject. So science is a power that all humans have. That's what we're going to be focusing on. And I am going to be filling in a critical journal sheet about it. So I'm going to be doing some critical planning. And this is a sheet along with a couple others that can help you critically plan with the ripe. knowledge system that is part of the resource. So that's just a little bonus in the critical knowledge building system. You get a little critical journal page and some other organizational things. And I want to expand this. So, like, yeah, help a sister out. Join patreon.com and get yourself a critical ripe knowledge building system. You're not going to want to miss me making my middle school science lesson and planning on Sunday. So thanks so much for joining me for Teach Time in the afternoon. It was so great to see you again. And I hope to see you again, especially on Sunday. All right. I'll see you then. Bye.